I have to reveal you a secret. I'm afraid of public speaking. Every time I have to stand up in front of an audience, deliver a speech in front of my colleagues at university, my colleagues at work, make a presentation in front of my students, my knees start shaking, my hands are sweating, and I'm losing my voice. I almost forget what I have to say. Now, if it's the same with you that I used to feel 8 years ago before I started my public speaking journey, please watch this video till the end very carefully, because I'm going to share with you the 3 most important tips that I learned throughout my public speaking careers over 8 years, where I delivered a number of speeches in front of different audiences and in front of hundreds of students. Now, before we go to the 3 most important tips that I learned throughout my career, I would like to start with something else. To start with a thing that prevents us most in anything that we do in our lives, and which is fears. What is the one thing that is holding you most from delivering an effective speech? What is the one thing that is holding you most from becoming a successful public speaker? Most people would answer this question that it's fears. Therefore, we have to understand why are we afraid of public speaking first, in order to go further to develop our skills of becoming a better speaker. And first, we have to overcome this fear in order to be good at anything that we are doing. Now, when I started first public speaking, as I told you, I was scared the hell out of it. I hated public speaking because my knees were shaking and I was losing myself. I did my research on that. I studied number of speakers, I studied number of best public speakers, and I realized one thing, that fear, as everything else in our life, in anything that we're doing, the fear that we're having is evolutionary pre-programmed in our head. Now, why do we fear public speaking? Because in my case, when I first delivered my first speech at the university, I had to stand up in front of my group mates, the people, 50 people that I was hanging out with on a daily basis. That were my friends, but I was scared of them when I had to deliver a speech. I was thinking about it later on. Why was I scared of these people that I considered my friends? The answer was very simple. And in order to explain this answer, I want to illustrate it to you in this way. Imagine we're living in a caveman time, in like old eras, where we have different tribes of people living in one cave or one tribe. And we depend on each other for food, shelter, and etc. So this one guy, an ordinary member of tribe, like me, you, everyone else in the society, we consider ourselves as ordinary members of tribe. An ordinary member of tribe decides to stand up in front of his tribe and to tell them, to share them a message. I understood that two of either one of things would happen to him if he decides to stand up in front of people and to speak. What would happen? First, you are challenging someone else's authority. Public speaking is related directly to what? To leadership. Leadership. If you want to deliver a speech, if you want to be a public speaker, you are automatically telling others that you are a leader because you have the right to speak, right? So if an ordinary member of tribe stands up in front of the tribe and decides to share a message with them, what is he doing? He is challenging the authority of a previous leader, whoever it is. And in ancient times, the ones that had the word to say were the strongest guys, were the leaders, and etc. So if you want to do a public speech, you are claiming your leadership. By this, you are challenging the previous leader. What would the previous leader do in a tribal time if you're challenging his authority? He would probably take his axe, come to the stage in front of you and chop your head off for who the hell you think you are, that you're challenging my authority and you're proclaiming your leadership. Therefore, we have this subconscious mind that, okay, I'm challenging someone's authority, I'm a normal, ordinary member of tribe, who the hell I am to have a word to say, to speak in front of people. That's a reason for the fear. Second thing, whenever we stand up in front of an audience, we are almost always begging for attention, begging for approval from the people that we're speaking to. I can see many beginner speakers looking at people's eyes and please say yes, please approve that I'm speaking, please say that you like what I'm saying. That's the mindset they're coming from, and that's one of the main reasons they have fear of public speaking. Because if an ordinary member of tribe stands up in front of his people and starts sharing his thoughts, starts speaking, say something, what would happen to him if a tribe that he's living with for years of his life does not accept him? What would happen to him? He is most likely to be abandoned by his tribe. And in ancient times, if you're abandoned by your tribe, what would happen to you? It's likely you're going to die. A wild animal is going to kill you, you won't have shelter or whatever, you are abandoned, you're on your own, and you're more likely to die. Therefore, this fear is associated with the fear of death. The fear of public speaking is not fear of public speaking, it's the fear of death. It's that you're afraid that you're challenging someone's authority, you're proclaiming your leadership, you may be punished for that by the previous leader, or your tribe, the people listening to you, would not accept you, and you're not afraid to be thrown rotten eggs or tomatoes at you. You are afraid that the tribe, the people are going to abandon you and you will be left alone and you would die. Therefore, this is number 1A. But the question comes here, how can we overcome this fear? How can we become a true leader who is not afraid to stand up? And it's a very simple thing. We come back to our tip number 1 here, which is have a clear message. And this is not just an ordinary message, it is a message that you truly believe in, that you're very confident, be confident in your message, that this message is going to help them, not you, is going to change those people's lives that are listening to you, all right? It's a message that you believe in. You believe that you must share this message, not for yourself, but to make their lives better. It's very important to the guys who are listening to it. Now let's take this ordinary member of tribe and give him a clear message that he will be able to be willing to take the risk. Because who is the leader? Leader is a person who's willing to take the risk for the sake of others. I care about these people more than anyone else. That's why I'm the leader. All right, so let's take this guy who is ordinary member of tribe and give him a clear message so that he will not be afraid of speaking in front of people, or even if he's afraid, he would do that no matter what, even if he's abandoned. I give him a message. His message is he found the fire. You're living in a caveman time, your people do not have fire, you're eating raw animals, whatever. This guy, this like normal ordinary member of tribe, he has the fire. Now, is he going to hide this fire from everyone else, or is he going to share, do good for everyone he's living, for family, friends, and everyone? He's like, guys, he's got this message, right? I found fire, I know what it is, it's going to help us a lot, you must listen to me. Now tell me, is he going to be afraid that the leader is going to chop his head off? No, this is more important than that. Is he going to be afraid that people are not going to accept his message? No, you have to accept my message because this is important to you. I'm not doing it to be accepted by you. I'm doing it for your good. So we give him a clear-cut message that share this fire with your people. And then he goes, the mindset totally changed. Whenever you have a message to deliver, it's a clear message. You believe that this message is going to be helpful to your friends, colleagues, whatever. You believe in your idea, thoughts that you have to share this. You are not going to be afraid anymore. You won't have the need to be accepted by the people. You will have the only one need that, okay, how am I going to make it easy for the people to understand my message? That's going to be the second part of the question, right? So we gave him the fire, we overcame fears, and we have a clear message to say, like, guys, listen to me. I have fire. Fire is good for health. It protects us from cold, protects us from wild animals, and this fire is going to help us cook food. And our children, great-great-grandchildren, and everyone else is going to use this fire, and we're going to grow and develop as a society. This is a totally different message, totally new message to the people. That's the tip number 1. Tip number 2 is be authentic. Now this is really important because I see many new starting public speakers, many newbies, they learn, I remember my own public speak. I first started learning from Dale Carnegie. The book is called, I believe, How to Influence People Through Public Speaking, and I will probably give a link somewhere to this book. It's really interesting book, and I do really recommend to read this book. I started off personally from that book, and I learned a lot from Dale Carnegie. But when I see many newbies, when they start learning public speaking, they start, Dale Carnegie says, like, you have to have a certain body language, stand straight, be confident in your voice, and etc., and portray that you are the authority. Now, I see when people apply this technique, it shows up a little bit more like a robotic way of, and ingenuine way of engaging audience, and it's not really well accepted by the audience. So I would recommend, instead of applying that, becoming like faking, how to say, your way to confidence, I would say, as long as you have this clear message, the next step would be to be authentic with your message. Now, your message can be both like calling for action for someone to do something, or something demanding leadership, strong power. You may believe in your message and you may feel that way, or you may, if your message is emotional rather than demanding some power, authority, you don't need to be that confident person. If you are afraid of audience, I would say don't try to hide it, but build personal connection with your audience and say that, okay guys, I have this really important message to share with you. I may die by sharing this message. I may lose my close friends, relatives, or whatsoever, but I have to do it. So if you have an emotional message, if you want to cry, even you can cry. There are a number of many public speeches that have like touched hearts of millions, where the speaker is crying because she or he is believing in their message so much that they're feeling those emotions while they're delivering. And that speech is more accepted than the speech where you're faking to be cool, to be confident. Never ever do that. Like most of people would say, just be yourself and do something. So that's the same. Just be yourself whenever you're in front of the audience. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. So I do love Carnegie. I learned a lot from him. I learned everything from him, but I wouldn't agree with that part of his book where, like, okay, go in front of audience and perceive people as they're owing you money and you're here to collect the money. I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, if as long as you feel that way, but maybe you don't. What if you're afraid of the audience and you're just there standing and like pretending you're cool, pretending you're confident? People would not accept it. They wouldn't appreciate it. What would people appreciate is you being yourself, and you have a message, clear message you want to share with them. You care about them, even though you're afraid of them. Maybe you care about your life more than anything. You are afraid, but your message is so important to you that you are willing to stand, even though you're scared. You're standing up there. You want to share, to do good. People would appreciate that way more than pretending that you're cool. So the second message is be authentic. As let's say our example, the guy or the member of tribe, he found fire and he's authentic. He's like, okay, I'm afraid here. I'm afraid, I don't know for sure. This fire may be dangerous as well. It may burn you as well. And I'm afraid that tribal leader would kill me, or you wouldn't accept me. But I'm here, I'm standing, and I want to share this message because I have to, because I truly, genuinely believe this fire is important. Let's all together research this fire. Let's all research what it is and in how many different more ways it can be helpful to our lives. So that's genuinity, rather than he's like, okay, I got this fire, I can kill you all with this, you must be scared of me, I'm this cool guy with fire and you have to all obey me. Like, as long as it's not him, as long as he's not faking that, it's okay. But if he's faking, if he's scared inside, he doesn't trust his fire and he's there, people would not accept him. So that's our tip number 2. Be authentic with your message. If your message demands confidence, you feel confident when you read that message, when you share that message, be that. If your message is like requires some kind of emotional relationship with people, like expression of certain emotions, do that. Don't be afraid of being yourself in front of people. The last message, I believe this is like not the least important, but it's one of the most important things. I would add here 3, storytelling. Now, this is the part where I mentioned earlier that we have a clear message, we're authentic with our message, we are not hiding, not pretending anything. Third part is storytelling. This is important because this is the way that you are trying to show people that you care. I mean, you are trying to find ways of delivering your message in a way that these people would understand it, in a way that you would understand it, right? I may be a genius. I lost thing, but whatever, I'm gonna speak with my mic here. So I may be this guy who's like super smart physicist, right? And I may like talk to you about asteroids or like chemical structure of like some rocket, flying rocket or whatever, but would you understand it? Elon Musk is really good example for that, right? He's got super amazing speeches, right? And then he's delivering those speeches in a way that you understand. I'm not going to talk about complex physics with a person who doesn't know it. I'm going to try to relate that message to you, right? So storytelling is very important part for that, because people, they do listen to your stories, right? If you're trying to share a message, you don't say that, oh, like you don't start with the message itself, but rather than if you say like, okay, I encountered this, I experienced this was my experience. Like, let's say you can start like when I was like 8 years ago when I was at university, I was reading this book and I realized this. Rather than saying that, guys, if you want to know how to be a cool public speaker, you have to have a clear message. I would rather say that before I started public speaking, I was sucking at this. Then I read this book. I understood that if you have a clear message, it would be better, or something like that. Share your personal story. So let's give an example illustration, right? This guy, our tribal member guy, he's got the fire, he found the fire, right? And he's here to deliver the message about the fire, right? Instead of him telling that, okay, I found this fire, where did you find it, what happened, what is this fire? This fire is very helpful to cook food. How do you know that? This fire will kill animals, will protect you from wild animals. How do you even know that as well, right? But instead, what he can do is like, guys, listen to me. 2 nights ago, I was in the forest alone. It was midnight. I was scared to death. It was really freezing cold. I was shaking. I lost my way back home. And then suddenly, from the bushes, I saw this a pair of eyes. And I heard his voice. It was a lion. He wanted to eat me. He was very hungry as well. And I had nothing to protect myself. I lost all my weapon, everything, and I'm freezing. It's freezing cold, and it's either that lion or me. I knew he's going to kill me. I can't hide from him. No trees. I can't even climb the trees. It's so cold. And I was in the verge of accepting my fate that I'm going to die. Suddenly, I saw something burning nearby. I saw a branch of tree. It was burning. I didn't know what it is, but in the desperate sake of protecting myself, I ran to that branch of tree. I took it, and I saw it something warm coming up from that. Lion came running at me. He wanted to eat me alive, and then, scared to death, I took that branch of tree, shoved it in front of that tiger, and suddenly I felt that he's scared. What is this scaring him? I ran after the tiger with that fire. I made the tiger run away from him. I protected myself. I am the guy who defeated this tiger with the help of this thing called fire. It was very cold that night. I couldn't get back to my home. So I decided to make this fire grow. I put some more wood on that fire and it started burning more. I felt more warmth. I spent the night there. I wasn't fearing of animals anymore because the tiger ran away from this fire, and probably many other animals would run away from it as well. Then it was very warm that night. I slept like a baby there. I wasn't scared and I was protected. I was very hungry. I hunted some rabbits before I decided to put those meat into that fire because my teeth were hurting. I needed to make the meat softer. Suddenly, when the meat cooked, I could eat it. It didn't hurt my teeth anymore. It felt better. It felt more delicious. So I would say, now, do you see the difference? He's sharing his own experience and it's more interesting. I bet when you were listening to this story, you were like, oh, what happened to this guy? What happened next? What happened next? You are listening to me carefully instead of me talking about like the structure of fire, how to use fire, and etc. I'm sharing my personal story and people are interested in the story. So the third part is storytelling. So let's recap everything. First, you have a clear message that you believe in, you're confident in, and you want to share because people care. You will overcome your fear of public speaking with that because you believe it's important for the people and it's not about you anymore. It's about them. It's about you sharing them. Second, I really believe in this, that you have to be authentic with your message. Your why are you sharing it has to be important, and be yourself. Don't pretend that you're cool. Don't change your voice. Speak with your own voice and speak what you believe in. If you want to cry, cry. If you're scared, say that I'm scared as you are. I'm no better than you. I'm scared as you are, but I'm going to share this message. And lastly, use storytelling. Tell your own revelations, your own understandings, and your stories, or someone else's stories. All right, this is it for now. If you love this kind of video series, I'm planning to do public speaking series continuously, and I will do several more videos on advanced or mid-level public speakers to share with you more detail how to do storytelling, or how to be authentic, or how to even overcome your fears, what kind of techniques you can use. Follow the video series. Please subscribe to my channel, press like, and comment below how you overcome your public speaking fears, how important is public speaking, and what was your experience about it. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye.